Good morning, guys. So it has been one heck of a week and a bit. So I didn't put it in the last video because still just processing kind of what unfolded. It was such an emotionally charged week for me, for my wife. It was just not what we'd expected by any sense of the word. So, any sense of the imagination, I should say. Hold up. Yeah, that's better. So yeah, let's do it as a timeline. Let's do that. So last week, beginning of the week, we basically got told, all right, your offer we are going to go with and we're going to negotiate with you, which was absolutely exciting. We were ecstatic. We went through the usual, things to do with our offer, and we settled on a price, settled on basically everything, and then there was just review from lawyers, review from accountants on their side, and then it came back to that set for a couple of days with them for that, and then we had to then negotiate the close date. We were pushing for, originally we wanted something to do with when the financial year ended for the business, for the ski resort, because that's just obviously easiest for everyone, but that didn't work with the seller's timeline. They wanted to exit before the next season kicked off. So anyway, there was some back and forth on that. We basically had come to an agreement on a date, and then instead of getting a signed acceptance of our offer, we got a phone call on Thursday afternoon from our realtor, Alec, who is an absolute godsend, legend in his own right, that the seller decided to go with a different offer right at the last minute. Her reasoning was that she was excited for us to buy this place, but more excited for them. We don't know whether it came through their realtor or directly to her, but the offer, they changed some things. They took out, they took out what she didn't like, which to us is a bit of a red flag. Like, if someone has to remove a ton of things for you to like it from their initial one, that can't be a great thing, particularly if there wasn't just one thing, sounded like there were multiple things they had to remove. Also, you get into negotiations, obviously that's going to be in the back of their head, things like that. So anyway, we had this ripped out from underneath us. It was just, not what we expected at the end of it all. Not after basically being told it was a done deal. Their realtor thought it was a done deal until the very last minute there. So yeah, pretty beat up by it. Just a lot of emotions, riding the high of this is going to happen, and that we were willing to make it work. We had everything lined up. We were ready to, put in the hard work to really, close the deal. And then, to have it just ripped out. So anyway, went through all the emotions of that, and now we are hoping it all falls on its face over the next 2-3 months, and that they come back to us, and we, to be honest, we're willing to step back into conversations. I don't know what that'll look like. from our side or their side. But yeah, we've all got our fingers crossed that this deal does fall over, because, I mean, come on, like, what an opportunity. Like, the ski resort, like, you know, this one particularly is the price point of it. For what it is, like, it's a blank slate in the scheme of things. Like, it's got a great community behind it. It's got great snow. There's a lot of really amazing things about this place already that you don't have to change. But when you look at the development of it, it is a blank slate. Like, you can make it what you want. You can build the village out to feel and be what you want it to be. Whereas, like, you know, if you stepped in and you bought, like, Whistler Blackcomb, for example, it's set up. There's not a huge amount you can do to the resort already. Like, there's not a lot you can change. It's pretty set up, pretty developed. Things are as they are. Things have been sold off. Things have been, you know, all of that. Which, not to say, like, I could do something like that. Like, well and truly, a Whistler is way out of my budget by a long shot. But the lack of crafting and development and change, not on my alley. I think that's one of the reasons why I love the entrepreneurial aspects of things, is because I like to see change. I like to help be a part of change. I like to help be part of the direction of that. The problem solving, you know, the whole 9 yards that comes with entrepreneurial aspects. So yeah. So for what it is, it's one of those ones where I don't think it'll be an opportunity down the line. I just don't see something like this in the way it is reappearing on the market. I very much don't believe that'll be something that'll happen in my lifetime again. I doubt anyone's lifetime going forward. I think they're all going to get more developed. Along with the challenges that come with trying to even, like, if you were to do one from scratch, which I've done a bit of a dive into, and, you know, if I ever had the financial capacity, I would 100% try to. I think it would be such a fun endeavor. But, you know, there's a lot of moving parts to it. Biggest one, you gotta deal with the First Nations in BC, and from what I've read into with things like this, because you're getting a lease from the government on Crown land, the First Nations basically have to be given money in some form, whether that's you giving them equity in your company, giving them a percentage of your profits or ticket sales, whole bunch of stuff for realistically nothing, because I understand the whole claimed territories, things like that, which, you know, from what I've also read into, it looks like the First Nations have claimed basically the entirety of Canada, so good luck finding anywhere where they don't have, you know, any proven or unproven claim to the land. So you got to give money to them for nothing, which, as they claim, is, you know, a partnership. But a partnership it's a two-way street. You give them money for this land, but you're not really getting land from them. You're getting it from the government, and you're going to give them stuff for nothing. So anyway, that's one hurdle, because if you don't meet what they want, they can kibosh the entire project and basically go to the government and be like, they're not working with us, and the government will be fearful of, like, a lawsuit because of stuff to do with our treaty in the Constitution with them. Will basically shut down the whole thing. So That's a challenge. Then you obviously got all the things with the actual application to get the rights to the land to use in a lease, an agreement with the government, and that's its own whole chaotic thing, and that will take years in its own right, outside of dealing with First Nations. They're really two separate things right there, both with their own unique challenges to create a ski resort. One's a lot of providing reports, doing all your due diligence to make sure like what you're doing is not going to be detrimental to the community, to the environment, how you plan on running it's going to be a viable thing, all of those factors which you should do. Can't just come in there and, you know, wham bam, thank you ma'am, and leave an absolute wake of disaster if it all falls on its face. So I see where the government's come from there, that makes sense. But then you've got the uniqueness of the First Nations, where realistically you're being delegated from the government, so the government have the duty of accommodation, which is the thing about giving them compensation, stuff like that. And it has to be monetary, it can't be anything else. Whether that's in the form of giving them first right of refusal on jobs, things like that. Anyway, so that falls on the government. The government will then delegate that to you as the applicant. And then that falls on you to meet this duty of accommodation. However, there's no oversight on that outside of whatever the First Nation that you're dealing with word. So if they don't think it's enough, it's not enough. There's nothing in writing of what like you should do or you can't do in that aspect. It all comes down to their word, which that is a challenge because, you know, what if they're having a bad day, bad year, whatever that might be, or the politics at the time are very explosive, like they currently are in BC right now. Like there's a lot of battles between peoples of First Nations and those who aren't, and there's a lot of divides. But if it was now, and you're trying to do this, one could think they might want more, they might want less, like you really don't know. And that's a very unique challenge because it's very hard to prepare for if you were to do it. So anyway, I've looked into it. I would love to. Maybe one day. Won't be today, won't be tomorrow for sure. Won't be this year. Yeah, so we're going to see how this all unfolds. I'm vanishing for a couple of weeks for a quick little holiday. So my amazing realtor Alec, we are trying to organize for him to get access to some funds on the off chance that the deal falls over and we have to make some moves whilst we're away, in terms of like deposits, you know, things like that don't really wait for you to come back from holidays if something like this occurs. So, you know, better safe than sorry. Worst comes to worst, our luck would be that we go away and we haven't prepared it and it doesn't happen because we weren't prepared. I feel like that would be the worst thing to be the reason why the deal doesn't happen if it falls back on our lap. Would hate to turn around to my kids one day and be like, we could have, but we weren't prepared. So, see how that rumbles, see how that unfolds. Talk to our people today and see what we can get done. But that, and then the newest addition to the family is shaping up to enter the film and television industry, it seems. She's been dragged out as a baby to already one movie, and now is kind of like in the mix with, I think there's another baby, they've got like two of them, I think, for a TV show. as like the baby in it for this season of the TV show. So, and it sounds like this season's predominantly around the baby. So there's going to be a bunch of days that she'll have to be on set. So my wonderful wife has been taking that one on board. I think she's kind of enjoying it as well. A bit of alone time with the baby, but also getting to go out and, just experience what that's like, which is kind of cool. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. That's fun. I think it's pretty exciting. Doing very well for a baby. So that's all just going to get invested for her into an account that when she's older, hopefully we can make it do really well, and then she can enjoy the fruits of what she did as a child when she's older, whether that's a house, uni, whatever that is, new car. We're also going to add to this fund, but then also, as we found out with this process, it's a new thing, but in BC, if you make a certain amount as a child, actor, whatever form that takes, I think it's under the union stuff only. So like if you're in a commercial and it's not the union work, I don't think this applies to it, but they've got these, in effect, like investment funds that after you earn a certain amount, like most of the money you earn, if not all of it, goes into that fund. And is managed on behalf of the child, all that fun stuff. I think it's great. I don't really like how it's being put into action. I think that as a parent, I should have the capacity to invest it where we see fit with the people we trust and believe can do a good job. Whereas this one, like, we are entirely at the mercy of whatever this fund decides. We have no idea who runs it. We have no idea the historic performance, and we don't get a say in going to anyone else. So I think from that side of things, it's a bit of a poor implementation of what they're doing. I think what it's there for is perfect, which is to prevent parents from taking the money their kids have earned and using it for whatever they see fit, which, kids earn the money. Realistically, it's their money. Shouldn't really be doing that. So particularly when, child's like 2 months old, 1 month old, they can't tell you what they want. You can't even turn around and be like, yeah, like I'm doing it for them. I bought diapers for them. That's on us. We need to buy diapers for them, not with their money. That's not how that works. If you're spending their money to buy diapers, you need to go look in the mirror and check yourself. So, anyway, I'm a bit annoyed with that one, but look, it's there. It's going to help her when she's older. She does well. It'll help her even more. Yeah. So we're going to see how that unfolds. I think that's going to go through till, what Liv was saying, like end of August. It's a long thing. I think once it's released, I can then tell you guys what it is. As a Squamish local, it's pretty exciting. A lot of people know about it. Not so much that she's in it, but just about this show. Ooh, my nose. Oh, that's a flat tire. Why does someone put object on road? Darn people on Google Maps, you can add there's a cop or there's construction object on the road. Someone did that, but it's just a car on the side of the road with a flat tire. And they're not on the highway at all. They're sending in an on-ramp. So, I don't know about object on road. So, really it's a bit of a miscommunication on that front, but yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. And then it's all prep this week for heading off to our holiday. We have far too many suitcases. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Actually, no, we do. Every suitcase but one is double packed. So we are flying back with 3 checked bags. We are taking 5, mind you. One suitcase is my father-in-law's, who we're giving to him. He bought it. It came after he left most recently, so we're going to bring it home for him. Luckily, the kids are small, so they're going to share one suitcase. But thank God for international travel weight restrictions. We would be in so much strife if we had minimal weight limits. So this is good. Yeah, keen. Hopefully not going to bring too much home. Thought about bringing the surfboards, but I'm going to leave them here, I think, with the goal of us heading up the Oregon coast next year and try to get some surf in. I've thought about Tofino, but I really can't be bothered. It's such a trek from Squamish. Got to go down to the ferry, catch the ferry, then you got to do the big drive across the island. Apparently the locals don't like tourists. There's one road in, one road out. Yeah, surf's not even apparently super incredible. It's also when the best surf is like when it's really freaking cold, and so you gotta wear like the full steamer with the booties, the gloves, and the hoodie. And if I don't know the surf's going to be good, there's no way in hell I'm going to put in the time, energy, and money into that setup when I can go to other places with more consistent surf and, you know, use what I've got, have a great time, hopefully get the kids into it, which is the goal for this trip, this holiday, is I'm going to try and get the kiddos on surfboards. Probably going to go out and buy a longer surfboard. Kind of debating exactly how big. At the moment, I'm leaning towards like a 9-footer, maybe a 10-footer. Something for like real small waves that I can go on with the kids, because at the moment I am riding heavy. So for all my North Americans, I'm sitting up at around 225, 230 pounds. So it's like 100, 105 kilos. So I am heavy for what I grew up at. I used to compete in track at like 75 to 83 kilos. So I am substantially heavier. So, yeah. So I'm going to need a big old boat to carry me plus the kids, so. And we'll see how the shoulders go. God, some people fly. So we're in an 80 zone. Typically get a grace of about 20 over. I think this person is blue. A little Honda Fit or whatever they are. Tiny little car. Just flew by it, doing probably like 120 something. But as you'd expect on the Sea to Sky, on a Thursday morning, I've seen one cop going in the opposite direction. Full stop. And we are almost in West Van, so it's like a 60k stretch of prime highway where people absolutely send it, and I've seen one cop. So, welcome to BC. If you want to come here and absolutely send it, you're probably going to be fine. Very rarely, unless you are being silly on like a weekend or a public holiday, will you be in trouble. So, yeah. Gosh. I think it kind of summarizes it. It's been one of them weeks. Yeah, just a lot of changes, figuring out what our next 6 months, what our next year and 2 years is going to look like. Ski resort being so up in the air still, and really, like, it is very much an up in the air with no idea if there'll be a change. So we're currently leaning on the side of it's not going to change, and just trying to figure out what that looks like for us going forward. So I'm obviously working on Apex. Been having some great thoughts on Apex with the branding agency. So at the moment, like, it's not 100% locked in, but we've been talking with a mob called Salt in Studio. 2 wonderful people run it. I love some of their other work with other companies, and it's not like some of these other creative branding companies where when you look at what their old work is, it's all on the computer still, like it's not actually been put into real life, or it's a rendering. I don't like seeing that sort of work. I want to see work that has been put into practice. Realistic stuff. Things that their clients have gone with from it and are now using, from the packaging to the marketing strategies, things like that, which is really cool because that's what they've shown as their previous work. So for someone like me stepping in, going, okay, who to use, this is exactly what I needed to see, going, okay, how does that kind of translate to what I'm looking for, and do I think they could do that? So we've been in chats with them, been working through their questionnaire, which it's thought-provoking, very thought-provoking in kind of all the right ways for a branding aspect. It's like when we did the branding for the Cove, we had conversations with the agency at the time that we used through a video chat, which was great and all, but it put you on the spot. So a bunch of the answers to these questions that I am now spending a lot more time thinking about and putting words on to paper I'm coming up with better answers for it, but also I'm able to sit there and think and back and forth on kind of what it means for me, for the company. I'm able to chat with Liv, and really just kind of really get into the nuts and bolts of it, which is great. But it's taking me some time. So I've been at it since like Monday or Tuesday. We're Thursday now. So been at it for a few days now, down to the last little bit. And yeah, I'm really hoping it sets them up to produce some great work. And obviously you guys will get to have a real great look at it when it all happens, because once we get this, we get into the packaging and my samples arrive, then I can go and actually run a first production. I can do a big order of our packaging and we will be ready to go on that front, which that's just, yeah, exactly what I want to do. I want to get to that point where we can run a full production product in packages, in boxes, ready to go to you guys. Launch that website, start chatting to retailers, and really see what you and the rest of our ideal customers are thinking about what we have to offer you guys, from who we are as a brand, what Apex is about, what you think of its packaging, and then also what you think of the products themselves, whether they perform the way you want them to, whether they perform to what the other products that you use do, but then also from the eco side of things. And yes, I'm using the eco word because it's true. We're using products that are ingredients that are safe. So if you dumped it in your backyard, in the forest, in the ocean, you are not going to have to stress about it causing problems for, well, trees, grass, insects, animals, the whole 9 yards. Because we are coming out with this one, I think I've said this time and time again, and I always will now, is it's come about because I want to make sure that if it's floating around my house, that if my kids get into it, if my dogs get into it, which I guarantee my bloody dogs will, because they get into things. And I want to know that if they do get into things, that I am not going to have to do an emergency visit to the vet and potentially watch them leave us, which would be an absolute atrocity. Would hate to see that. So that is where we stand with this. This is why we're doing it. It's not because, I hate non-eco products and that I'm trying to be a green warrior, but because these products don't have to be bad. They don't have to be something that, locked in a safe box in your house, kept out of reach of children. They're things that's not an issue. And I think there are a lot of products in the world that could be like this. The only reason they're not is because it is a lot cheaper to make with these non-eco ingredients and raw materials. Like, it is just easier, it's cheaper. So I get it, I see why they do it. But that is not why we are going to do it, because it's, for me, the margins are there anyway. It's a viable business if we sell enough, all that fun stuff. We really build that community, which that's going to be one of our big things, is money's second, the community comes first. I'm not doing it because I don't have income. I'm doing it because, as I said earlier with the ski resort, I like doing the entrepreneurial things. And this is just another way to do it, having shut down the old West Van Cove Center. Like, gives me that opportunity to get back in there to build a community in a different way, in a different field, different industries, different activities, meet a whole bunch of new people, but also get to be creative, push some progress, all that. And then at one point in time, if we do well with it, I get to have the fun of building a new team. And a team is fun. The old Cove team was an absolute blast. You'd roll into work and it was good to be there. It wasn't, I'm here at work again. It was, you'd look forward to it, to have the conversations, to work with them and, try and make today better than yesterday's. So, yeah, that's where we're going with it. So I'm almost down here for this morning run. So thanks for tuning in. It's going to be a bit of a boring, in effect, podcast today. But thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoy it all. If you don't want to look at my face, just shove me in some headphones and look away. And then, we're going to probably do a bunch more with some more stuff to see over the next little bit, because I will be doing the travel and the holiday, so you'll get to see a lot more of the shenanigans. So stay tuned to that. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the whole ski resort situation. And if there's anything more you want to see or things you don't want to see, like, let me know. Like, I'm kind of curious what you guys don't like and what you do like, or things that I'm just not doing that you want to see. So let me know. Until then, though, get out there, crush it, have some fun, because I will be.